Hi, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast, the podcast for women who are done stressing about the weight of the world, of expectations and settling for status quo, and ready to step into the full weight of joy. Joy in the journey, whether up or down, joy through the life's challenges, and joy in loving your life right where you are, even though sometimes we feel like chucking it all and moving to Bali. It's for women who are ready to step into who God called them to be. He chose you to be in this world. He created you for a specific purpose. God called us to be the light on a hill, and by embracing who you are and whose you are, you can stand on that hill and shine. The best part, when you're standing next to another woman who's also on the journey, the world gets brighter. My name is Tammy. I am your host and a master certified life coach and a trained therapist. For over a decade, I've been helping women do just that. Step into who they're called to be and shine. Are you ready, friend, to start your journey? Let's do this. One of the things that I know to be true is that when you are trying to do something, when you're building something, when you are putting yourself out there, not everyone's going to like you or what you do, right? Like even if you don't have a strong opinion about somebody, like on social media, there's people who have different beliefs than you, people who say things that you don't like. Well, about a year and a half ago, I got my first real hater. I've had comments from people telling me like that, just random negative comments. I've had those, and I've had people who didn't like my podcast episode or didn't think a post on Facebook really gave enough detail. It was one person said that I don't have enough credentials to talk about. I didn't go to seminary, so I shouldn't bring scripture into my teachings. And so I've had that before, and that never really bothered me. But about a year and a half ago, I had someone who she found me through a summit, I believe. And so I spoke for someone else's online program. Like it was an online kind of retreat thing. And I talked about, it was about grief and turning it into a business and how I have used my experiences and now I do what I do because of it, which it's what I do, right? And she there was something in what I said, and I didn't even really find out what it was. I do know that part of it is I called in my email, I called the reader, my peeps. And what's really interesting is she like it kept going. Like she really was adamant. And it really to the point where like sending an email, she DM'd me on Instagram. There was multiple ways that she wanted to get her point across, like multiple emails about how just laying into what I have to say. And I looked at that and if you know me at all, you know that I take things like that very seriously. I don't want to be disliked, but I've also grown and know that I can't please everyone. And in fact, to be where I am in business, I do have to kind of polarize a little bit. And I do believe that you can turn your life experiences and your expertise into a profitable business, a sustainable and a fulfilling, a legacy building business. But with that comes some haters. But I'm not going to lie, at this time in my life, there was a couple things that I was down on. Like I was going through some parenting things a year and a half ago. So I was looking at a 14-and-a-half-year-old and 12-and-a-half-year-olds. And if you know those ages at all, I had some things going on. Year and a half ago it's 2014. So that would be 2000, like early 2023, I think is when it was. That makes sense. And so, a lot of changes in my life and a lot of things that I was at that time, the way it hit me stronger than it should have. I mean, she berated me because I used the word peeps, which it was a casual, like I call my friend my peeps. I call you my peeps because it's not like you're my people, right? Like we have things in common and it's a term of endearment. And she Anyway, she went on and on about how she is too educated to be called peeps. Side note, I was listening to Myron Golden on YouTube, and he totally like this guy, he is the coach of coaches. Like he is he's probably a billionaire. And he called us he's like, offhanded, he's like, yeah, because you're my peeps. And I'm like, what? This man is a PhD. And like I felt vindicated. But back to my story. But I allowed this to because especially since it was multiple avenues she just laid into me. And it really got me down, and it really made me question. And luckily, I've talked to my coach about it, my friend who's a coach, and we coach each other back and forth. And she's like, Tammy, why do you do what you do? And I was like, because if I help people take their life experiences and their expertise and turn it into a business and turn it because I want for them what I have, the freedom, the healing, the life that I get to live, all because I step out of my comfort zone and I do this. Like it's my calling. And she's like, and she asked me deeper about why. And she's like, what vision do you have for your business? Like, where's your business going? And I was like, well, I'm gonna be a speaker. I'm gonna have a book published, which comes out in 1 week. I am super excited about it. But she went into this that she's like, let's talk about your vision. And I realized in that moment, my vision became so clear. She helped me see that my vision, it instantly, it pulled me out of my funk. And I realized that what I'm doing, it matters more than a hater. That I blocked her on everything. What's really interesting to me is she didn't block herself. She didn't remove herself from following me on Instagram. She didn't remove her email address from my list. She just kept sending me emails. And so I blocked her. And I realized, at this moment, I got clear and I prayed and I was looking at my why and my vision. Because I had a detailed vision, I was able to get out of that disillusioned moment. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, about having the purpose of a vision. So I'm getting ready to do a vision lab. Like we're gonna meet together, we're gonna build a vision. And more information about that is coming. I keep teasing you about this, but I'm telling you, if you knew what was going on in the behind the scenes in my life right now, today I had my daughter, she has a little side gig. She pet sits, and she got there and the dog got sick. And so I dropped what I was doing to go and help her take care of the situation. And I don't regret it at all. I do. It was gross. But my priorities, my values, my core values that I discovered are my family. I do what I do because I want my family to have the freedom and I want to have the life and I want them to know they can depend on me. And well, this moment she needed to depend on me. So I stopped for an hour and a half like of my focus time and I went and took care of that. And so I'm teasing this vision lab, but believe me, like you're going to want to be part of it. And so over the next month, I'm going to talk more and more about expanding your vision, creating this vision, because I know that having a clear vision and you pair it with a couple of other things, like there's other elements, but I'm really focusing on vision right now, one step at a time, right? By having a vision, when we have those moments that we get disillusioned, we can snap out of it. We see what's possible, even when we don't see that it's probable. And so today I just want to talk about that because with life, with starting a business, with parenting, there is ups and downs and all around, right? We go and we start getting momentum, we start getting some motivation, we start seeing some progress, and then something happens to knock us off kilter. Something happens, the devil attacks us in a way, and we get pushed down. We become, depressed. We strive, and we're not seeing the outcomes that we want. The one thing we know is if God called us to it, we have to keep going. I mean, think about the Israelites in the 40 years. Do you think they got disillusioned? But they had that vision that God was there. Like literally they saw God in the clouds and in the fire. I hope I didn't mix up my stories there, but I don't think I did. But the manna, like they saw the vision. They saw, they may not have known what the promised land was, and that was part of their issue, right? Because they didn't have a vision of what God was telling them. They didn't picture it. They only saw what was right in front of them. And so in that moment, they got disillusioned and it took them 40 years to what should have taken them a couple of weeks. Ladies, let's not take 40 years to do what God's called us to do today. And so let's talk vision. Let's talk about it. And we're going to talk today about three reasons why vision is necessary, like three key parts that vision does for us in our life. And then, yeah, like a study done by Edwin Locke and Gary Latham talked about, like, I was looking at, like, I know that vision changed things for me. And then when I learned to expand my vision and actually see more than I could believe, that enabled me to actually lean into my God-sized dream versus a Tammy-sized dream. Like, that's what I want. I don't want anything less than God has for me. And I knew that my vision was like, I needed to expand it. I knew that vision is so important. And God even said, without vision, people perish. Don't perish. All right. Like, have a vision and then let's expand it. But first, let me convince you that it's worth sitting down and discovering and writing out what your vision is. Because, when things are going, good, we can keep going. Like we can keep steadily making progress, and we have that motivation. But how do we go when we get knocked down? How do we go when we get sideswiped? How do we go when something we thought was going to work doesn't work? How do we go when we create something and then we come to find out nobody wants it? That's when our vision is necessary. And so Simon Sinek says, working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something we love is called passion. So our vision has to do with our passion, because we're all willing to work, right? I don't think you'll be listening to this podcast if you are someone who just wants to sit and be handed everything. Like, if I know anything about you, it's you're a go-getter, you're ambitious, you have dreams, and you're willing to put in the hard work. But we don't want to stress. We don't want to work hard for nothing. We don't want to work hard and it not matter. The things that we do, we want to matter. And so this is why it's like this vision brings to life the passion we have within us. And so let's talk about what role does vision play. And it's clarity and focus. When we start to have this, when we write out our vision, so if we think it, it's very one-dimensional. This is why it's not enough to just dream in our mind. We need to write it down, because without it, we can't put legs behind it. We can't recall it because if I needed to think of a vision right in that moment that I was down, my vision would not have been very grand. It would not be abundant and expansive. It would have been like, my vision is I don't want people to make fun of me, or I just want this person I just want to help one person. And to be honest, helping one person is enough for me, but it's not what I want. Like, I know every person that I have helped and that I've helped them expand their vision or start whatever, create this life that they want. Everyone matters, but I'm not stopping there. And I don't want you to stop either, which is why this vision is so important. This clarity, when you write it down and you are able to expand it and give it detail, give it some meat, like put some meat on the bones of your vision. And by that, I mean, like detail, 5 senses, like where, who, when, what, like put numbers to it, put places to it. Don't just say that I have a vision of, traveling around the world. It's like, no, I want to go to the Amalfi Coast. Like, and I want to sit at a little cafe and have tea, because I don't drink coffee, have tea looking over the Amalfi, the sea. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. Put some legs to it, have clarity, because then when you have that clarity, then you can focus. I needed that focus in that moment to to push away the naysayer, push away the hater, and get focused on what God has for me. The assignment that He put in my heart, because no person, I don't care if she's a Christian or whatever, and she knows more of the Bible, that's fine, but she wasn't given the same assignment that I was. And clearly, I'm not the coach for her. And the same as whoever, if God's put on your heart, and I don't want to make this about me. I just want to use my story. But again, because know that people are going to hate. Like that's going to happen. The devil does not want you to succeed. He doesn't want your vision to be expanded because he knows it's possible, because he has seen what God can do with someone who's obedient, with someone who's willing to get uncomfortable and go for it. And so having this vision allows for clarity and focus. I needed that focus in the moment to get the negative out of my head and focus on the good I have done and the good that's coming. The positivity and the impact that I know is coming. So that focus, it also increases your motivation and resilience. I know now when I get naysayers, when I get haters, that just it means that I said something charging. It means that I said something that someone is going to be like, heck yes. Because in order to have a heck yes, someone's got to think heck no, because it's not for everybody. You're not for everybody. And the cool part is you don't need to be. I don't have the capacity to help everyone in the world. I have the capacity to help the people God have in store for me and my business and in my coaching world and in the realm that God has me at. The same for you. You don't have to serve the world. You serve the slice of pie, the slice of the world that God has for you. So it helps get focus, and clarity, but it also increases motivation. Because that clear vision, like I want it. I want it. And I'm not just for me. Yes, there are things in the vision about me, but I also know, like, it drives me because I know when I see other people, when I see other women stepping into their calling, holy cow, like when I see them shine their light and see the impact they're making, it motivates me to do more. And I know that I'm called to help people shine their light. And so, same with you. Use your vision to motivate you and build that resilience, because if we truly believe it's important, that it's a God given assignment, it matters. Your impact matters. And so, allow that to build the resiliency to when something doesn't go your way or something. And I use that term, like, we know there's some things that can happen that can really shake things up and that can destroy the vision. The goals that I had and the vision that I had before that my husband was killed are a lot different than they are now. And those, like, I had to bury those and I had to grieve those not as much as my husband, but I had to grieve the vision and the life that we had together. So I know that you can have a vision that died and that you're rebuilding, you're expanding what's possible. So build resilience around that. And the third one is it enables strategic decision making. Okay. So when you have a vision, you could ask yourself, will this get me closer or not? Is this a squirrel? Like, you know what I'm talking about, that in the movie Up, where the dog's like going after and they go, squirrel. Is this a squirrel project that's going to get me off course? That's going to stop my vision from coming true? It's going to take me on a detour that I can avoid? Or is this a detour that's actually going to put me on another trajectory? But having that vision, you have that framework, you have that blueprint, you have those boundaries that enable you to make decisions more strategically. All of this comes from creating a vision. And so I want you to come back over these next couple of weeks and let's dive into let's really get clear. Because I know one of the biggest mistakes that business owners make, that people who are trying to start a quote unquote thing is they have a limited vision. I had a limited vision when I started, and it kept me playing small for a long time. And I am done with that now. And I know the power of playing big, playing God-sized, like claiming things and doing things that you know he put on your heart. And so that's what I want for you, friend, is I want you to stop playing small. I want you to stop putting your dreams on the back burner because or not stepping fully into them because you don't see what's possible. So hopefully I convinced you today that like even slightly that vision is so important. And that vision will help us to keep from being disillusioned. It will pick us back up when we get knocked down because we will get knocked down. Life is hard. All right. Life is hard. And that when the winds come, it pushes us out. And I say winds because I live in Oklahoma and man, the wind, like there are times that it really feels like if I wasn't grounded, if I didn't put on all that perimenopausal weight, then it would push me over. But we have to hold on to things. And so that vision allows us to be grounded and focused. All right, friend, stay tuned. This Vision Lab, it is coming. It's coming in October, and October's like a week away, less than a week away. So like it is coming. Get excited about it. I am super excited about it because when I started expanding my vision, when I got serious about creating a vision, my whole outlook changed. I was able to tap deeper into my why. I was able to see what's possible, even if I didn't know that it was probable. I could see what was possible. And then I was just able to take what I could see and expand it. And so that's what I want for you. All right. I hope you like this podcast. I am fired up about talking about vision because I know that if you start getting this vision on paper, nothing can stop you. And it will keep you up when everyone wants to knock you down or when the world wants to knock you down. And so yeah, like I think I beat that dead horse. All right. Well, I'm going to go now. What I want you to do, if you have not left me a rate or review for my podcast and you get anything from this podcast, please consider leaving that. It's 30 seconds and it helps the algorithm. It helps the powers that be who decide who gets to listen to the podcast or not. And what that does is the algorithms and AI is so good that if there's people who listen to similar podcasts as you or do similar things, like it will recommend it to them. Excuse me, I got hiccups now. I get those a lot when I'm like, maybe not hiccups, just I guess I think I talk so fast because I'm just excited. But leave me a rating and review. That it really means a lot to me. I read them all. It helps me understand. And when you say like what resonates with you, like reach out to me also. I had a lady who she found my podcast through my PR guru, Michelle Rupp, and her emails. And she's amazing. And she's like, I saw your podcast in my email from Michelle and I listened to it. And she talked about how much it helped her and how she told me the parts that she values. And I'm like, heck yes. Like this is what I want to do it for. And so leaving me a review, that helps me see that it's resonating, that you like it, and it motivates me to keep going, even when I get knocked down. It helps me with the vision. All right. It helps me with the vision. But also, if you have a friend who you know has a vision that they haven't cultivated it, that they have a dream inside of them, and this podcast would encourage them to start putting some pen to paper with their vision, please share it with them. I would appreciate that so much. All right, friend, I will talk to you soon. I have a new resource for you. Three biggest mistakes when building a small business. Here's the first, what is it called? Spoiler alert. There you go. Spoiler alert. The first one is we have a limited vision. And so this month, we are going to talk about how to expand our vision so that we can avoid that mistake. All right, friend. Choose joy until joy chooses you. I am so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for tuning in week after week, day after day. And you're being a loyal listener and friend. If you haven't reached out to me, reach out. I would love to just connect with you. I do this because of people, not because of Um, Not because sitting here and recording things light me up. Like, I do it because I want to connect with you. So with that, choose joy till joy chooses you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.